2018. I hope you guys are having an amazing time like I have. Learning, listening, interacting with our speakers. I'm super excited about our last segment, which is Celebration of the Arts. It's one of my favorite segments because it is so much fun. It's about what you love to do and people who work in the arts. So our first speaker is one of my good friends. She is also the 2016 Miss Talent, and she's a Santa Clara graduate. But what most people do not know is that she is a professional cosplayer. I have always heard of the term cosplay, but I never knew what it was or where it came from. Liezl Fernando is here today to tell us about cosplay as a huge phenomenon which gave her a lot of joy and confidence and how cosplay changed her life. She is amazingly talented, so please join me in welcoming Liezl Fernando.
Thank you, Katie. Hello, everyone. As Katie just said, my name is Liezl Fernando, and I'm here today to talk about the cosplay phenomenon. I know many of you are unfamiliar with what cosplay is. Maybe you assume that it's just a bunch of adult nerds running around in Party City costumes at Comic-Con. But I assure you it's something much more than that, and I hope that after my talk, you realize why it's so special and what it means to me personally. Sorry, do I have the clicker for the PowerPoint? The clicker. Sorry. Thank you. So the rise of nerd culture has been extremely apparent throughout recent years, such as with the success of huge movies like Star Wars and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Esports, or competitive video gaming, is extremely popular nowadays and almost regarded like a real sport, worth over $700 million. And San Diego Comic-Con, or the largest convention in the United States, welcomes over 130,000 fans of pop culture and comic books every year. And with the rise of this nerd culture and this growing popularity, cosplay, or the art of transforming into fictional characters, is also becoming mainstream. But how did this start? Why is cosplay a thing? Fan costuming began as early as 1909 in the United States, and it was based off science fiction characters. Back then it was referred to as masquerade. And the term cosplay was coined in 1983 by Nobuyuki Takahashi, a Japanese magazine writer. And he created the word cosplay by combining costume and play. But nowadays, cosplay is far from just about playing around. By 2019, cosplay will be a $23.6 billion industry. Most of us do make our own costumes from scratch, and all the tools, the fabrics, the wigs that we need to make our costumes can be very expensive. There are many Asian manufacturers who actually mass-produce high-quality costumes for people who don't have the ability to make their own. People have actually made livelihoods and careers out of cosplay. For instance, there are people who sell their own cosplays and make them for others. There are people who are professional cosplayers and get invited to events all around the world and are treated like real celebrities. So cosplay is a legitimate business and industry that people actually make jobs out of. But why is cosplay so special? Why are so many people drawn to it? To answer this, I'm going to break it down into three major aspects of what I've learned and experienced with cosplay. And that is storytelling, community, and passion. Now, I've always kind of felt like I was the odd one out. Even amongst my closest group of friends, I always just felt like kind of an oddball. Sorry about that. And I couldn't really explain why. A long time, I've struggled with awkwardness, with insecurity, social anxiety, even depression, and that's affected me a lot. When I was a kid, I was very shy. I loved performing on stage, but I had problems expressing myself and making friends. When I was about 6 or 7, I went to this holiday party. I went to this neighborhood party, and being a tomboyish girl that I was hanging out with the boys, and that's how I ended up playing my very first video game, Super Mario World, for the SNES. Within the first 5 minutes, I was in love. I felt transported to this new world. I was riding Yoshi, going through the Mushroom Kingdom. I was flying around in a cape. I was battling Iggy on that little platform over boiling lava. And it was this game that introduced me to creative storytelling. And this was very prominent throughout my life. My sister and I would spend endless hours creating stories with our toys. We would create these characters, these worlds that we lived in. And that's exactly what I do with cosplay. Cosplay is different from Halloween costumes because we're not just dressing up. We are becoming a character. We're bringing it to life. We love these stories and these characters so much that we want to live them and become them. It's one step further than just playing a video game character or making fan art or writing fan fiction. We are inserting ourselves into these worlds, and therefore we build a bridge between the real and imaginary. And we tell stories not only through the characters we become, but the costumes themselves. Cosplay is an incredibly creative hobby. And for me, my costumes became a sort of language that allowed me to express myself in ways that words never could. And it gave me an immediate connection with people. For instance, my Articuno costume that I made last year. Now, Articuno is a Pokemon. I'm sure everyone knows what Pokemon is. It's a franchise that I grew up on. I still play every new game to this day, and I can name practically like all 900 of them. And I wanted to bring one of my original favorites to life. Articuno is a legendary Pokemon, and I wanted to make a costume that matched that description. And I decided this armored mage warrior-like character would really match. And so I made this initial design. I worked weeks trying to perfect it. I wanted this cool headpiece, you know, I designed all the armor and I made these giant wings, and then I went to work. For months, I took over my kitchen table. It was covered with feathers and glue and paint, and I pushed myself creatively until I was finally able to debut this costume last summer. And through this costume, I was telling a story. I was creating this world in which this legendary ice bird warrior exists. There were people who were cosplaying as Pokemon trainers and other Pokemon, and they came up to me and wanted to battle me or try to capture me. I had Pokemon Go fans yelling, "Team Mystic," as they walked past. There were people who didn't even know what character I was, and they were impressed by the scale of what I had made. Costumes are a form of communication, of expression to other fans and to people around us. For cosplayers, it's a way for us to live out these fantasies we have in our brain and bring other people into them as well. By putting on a costume, it gives us the power of the characters that we become. And we can become someone greater than just ourselves. For instance, people with disabilities can transform into characters that empower them. Women with hijab, like this Poison Ivy cosplayer, can express themselves creatively. You can create crossovers like this cool Star Wars the Beast crossover. You can make gender bends, you can do steampunk versions, you can do whatever you want because that is the nature of cosplay. And when I put on a cosplay, I'm no longer the shy, awkward Liezl that I thought myself as. I was a warrior, ready for battle. I was a cute idol performing on stage. I was a Disney princess going on adventures. And when I take that costume off, I was inspired to make my life reflect the characters that I portray. Cosplaying introduced me to this creative side of myself, and it helped nurture my love of storytelling. Now, when I got to junior high, I still love these fantasy worlds and video games. I watched classic anime like Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z. I lived and breathed Disney. But it was at this age where everyone was trying to be cool. You know, everyone said, cartoons are for babies, you know, and I was scared of being judged by people, and I thought that people would make fun of me, so I decided to hide that side of myself. But that was so part of my personality that I ended up hiding like pretty much everything about me. Most people, besides my very close friends, didn't really know much about me besides that I got good grades and I played the piano. And I hid this up through high school, until one day me and my best friend heard about this local convention called AkiCon. Now, I had no idea what cosplay was back then, but it was around Halloween time, so we decided to check this convention out, cosplaying as some characters from the anime Bleach. And I do not have photos of this event because it was bad, but I do have this one photo of these same costumes taken about a year later.
And you can see how cringy it was. I didn't know how to pose, I didn't have makeup, I didn't know like how to use wigs or anything, so I actually had my hair cut short to match the character. Looking back at this, I find this extremely cringy, like you are all privileged to see this photo. But back then, I had such an amazing time and I wanted to do more. Soon after that, I found professional cosplayers online, like Yayahan, Andela Cosplay, and Kamui Cosplay. They became my idols. They made all these cool costumes from scratch, from these fantastic materials and methods, and I wanted to do that too. And that's how I started making my own costumes and learning how to sew and craft. The very first costume I ever made was Homura Akemi from Madoka Magica. And Homura is one of my all-time favorite anime characters, so it was a really big deal for me to cosplay her. But again, I was still scared of being judged. Cosplay is different from other art because you can't just anonymously post on the internet. You know, it is your face, your body being critiqued. And I thought people would say, oh, I didn't look like her enough, my costume wasn't accurate enough. I was legitimately worried people would call me out because I have darker skin. But as I started attending events and meeting new cosplayers and posting my photos online, I realized that I got really positive feedback. People said that I was a good representation of this character and really empowered me. And that's when I started realizing how accepting the cosplay community is. So, you know, cosplay is about transforming into these wacky, crazy characters with giant hairdos and magical powers. So, you know, it makes sense that the community is so accepting of whoever you are, no matter your size, your shape, gender, race, sexual orientation. Crosplaying or cosplaying as the gender opposite that you identify with is actually very accepted and very normal. For instance, this center photo is a cosplay group I was in. I'm the one with the purple hair. One of these cosplayers is actually a male. I'm not telling you which one, you gotta figure that on your own. The cosplayer on the right is a very famous female Japanese cosplayer, cosplaying as Levi from Attack on Titan. And this cosplayer is actually a male. And this is, you know, completely normal for us and accepted. Cosplayers are just a bunch of fans having fun. You know, there's no organization we're a part of. There's no leadership, hierarchy of people telling us what to do. We just get together and do it because it's fun. And there are cosplayers who get together to actually do good for the community. There are charities and groups that do stuff. One of the most famous ones is the 501st Legion. They are a group of volunteers who make movie-accurate Star Wars costumes. They promote interest in Star Wars and also raise money for charities. There are cosplayers who visit sick kids in hospitals, so these kids can meet their heroes and get cheered up. And being part of the cosplay community made me part of this network of people that I'd never experienced before. At school, you know, I had little groups of friends, but never this overreaching network of people that went all the way across the United States, even around the world. And it made so many cool things possible, these collaborations, such as this giant 18-person group I was in last year. You have no idea how hard it is to organize 18 cosplayers during a busy convention weekend, but we made it work. This photo gallery that I set up back there would not have been possible if I couldn't reach out to this network of people that I had met throughout the years, and they were so amazing to send me these photos so I can show you all what cosplay is about. And being part of this community made me feel like I didn't have to hide myself anymore. I was finally surrounded by weirdos like me who accepted who I was and my interests. And I was meeting new people at every event. People who knew my character that I never met before could come up to me and say, oh, what did you think of this episode of the anime? Or how did you make this part of your costume? And it really improved my social skills. Cosplay created this community of people connected by similar interests. And being part of it boosted my confidence and really helped me face my social anxiety head on. Now, arguably the most important thing I've learned from cosplay is passion. For most of my life, I felt like I wasn't really passionate about anything. I played the piano just because. I liked ballet, but I wasn't that good. I loved video games, but I felt that just playing video games wasn't really a passion. And when I was a kid, I was told that I was going to be a doctor when I grew up. Typical Asian parents, am I right? And at the time, I didn't really question it because I didn't really have any other dream jobs at the time. So I went through high school, I got to college, declared my major in chemistry, still believing that the medical field was right for me. It wasn't until sophomore year that I realized that I hate biology. Like, I really, really hate biology. And it was at that moment where I realized I couldn't force myself into medical school if I didn't really love what I was learning. And so I decided to leave the pre-med track behind. It was a very difficult decision for me because for so much of my life, being a doctor was like my identity, and now that was gone. And I had no idea where to go. I started getting this existential crisis of who I am and what I was supposed to be. And I started getting those feelings of depression. Even after graduating with my degree in chemistry, I still had no clear direction on where I was going. And throughout these struggles, I just was still continuing with cosplay. And it was at this time where I made Noir from the Neptunia series. At the time, it was my most advanced cosplay to date. I had started learning so many new techniques. I used thermoplastics for the first time. I used heat transfer vinyl for the gold details, and I was so proud of how it turned out. And I wore it to this convention called KrakenCon. And there is where I met the CEO of Edge Interns, Francis Kong. He came up to me in this cosplay and he said, "You know, I think you'd be good in this thing called Miss Asian Global." And I said, "Are you the right person? Like, me in a pageant?" Like, I still thought I was the most awkward person, you know. I didn't think I was that pretty. Like, on a daily basis, I wear a t-shirt and jeans and I never wear an ounce of makeup. But having someone come up to you and say, "You should do this," I was like, sure, why not? Like, when am I gonna get this opportunity? And in 2016, I was in Miss Asian Global and I ended up winning Miss Asian Talent. But more importantly, I was part of this new network of amazing women who were all intelligent and accomplished and talented. And it really inspired me to do something greater with my own life. Making these connections actually led to a professional development in cosplay. I started working with Blackstorm Labs and I made some costumes of characters from their game Everwing. And I actually got to go to events and conventions representing them and talking about the game. And this was like mind-blowing. I was getting paid to make costumes and you know, this was just a dream come true for me. And I was still kind of thinking about what I wanted to do with my life. And some people ask me, why don't you just become a costume designer? And that's great and all, but through these experiences, I started to realize that I can apply it to something greater than just costumes. Cosplay changed how I see the world. It made me realize that I really love the technical side of things. I like making things and designing, and I like learning how things work. I want to get my hands dirty, and I like learning new techniques. With every new costume I make, I wanted to make it bigger and better. I use thermoplastics, 3D printing, LED lights, heavy machinery. And I've always really loved math and wanted to do something with that, with my career. But at the same time, I liked this side of art and creativity and designing. After years of feeling confused and lost, a light bulb finally went in my head, and I realized what the perfect intersection of these two things are, and that's engineering. With engineering, I can combine the knowledge of math and science that I've learned throughout my years of education and put it together with art and designing and making cool stuff. And now I'm applying for graduate school in mechanical engineering. I want to design and make cool, innovative structures and robotics and things that can help people and maybe even inspire them. Cosplay is what gave me that spark I needed to realize what I was meant to do. All of this, the pageant, working for Blackstorm, finding my calling in engineering, it happened because I decided to give into my nerdy side and dress up like an anime character. Following my passion in doing something and putting all of my time and energy into something I loved, it led me to opportunities and experiences that I never would have even dreamed of having. I felt that being a cosplayer, transforming into these other characters, was the first time I chose to do something for myself. And it ironically helped me get on track to be the person I want to be. So yeah, cosplay can be weird and crazy and silly, but that's what makes it awesome. It's a platform for unlimited creativity. It's inspired from fantasy worlds and it brings those worlds to real life. It made people with insecurities like me feel connected with people and, build these friendships. It helped create communities and support groups that even leads to professional developments. Cosplay is more than just playing in costumes. It's become a cultural phenomenon that's really changed my life. I'm no longer that shy person scared about what people think of her and where am I supposed to go in my life. I have transformed. And I hope that maybe one day you may be inspired to join us and be immersed in our fantasy worlds too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Liezl, for sharing with us the cosplay journeys. If you guys have not checked out the cosplay gallery she has set up over there, I would really recommend you do so to check out her cosplay props and her interactions with the different members of community in cosplay. So please check that out. And I would honestly stick around if I were you because after in the reception, you can see cosplay in person. So stick around for that. All right, and people in the back, if you could like sit in the front and make yourself comfortable, that'd be great. You'll want to be up here for our next speaker. He is I'm really excited about a lot of speakers here today, but this one I've been waiting for to share with you guys. So Tim Partridge has done some amazing and impactful work in the movie industry over the last 3 decades. Special effects for Pirates of the Caribbean, Back to the Future, Jurassic World, Pacific Rim, Transformers, big names, guys. So he has an amazing journey to get to where he is, and we are so fortunate enough to hear some snippets of that journey today from a major Hollywood special effects producer. So can we have the clip up, please?
What? Is this VoIPed?
Welcoming Tim Partridge from 3210 Studios.
Thank you. I got to tell you, when Francis asked me to come and speak here, I said, who else is speaking? And he said, oh, we've got some TV celebrities and a whole bunch of extremely beautiful, extremely intelligent and talented delegates from the Miss Asia Global pageant. You'll fit right in, he said. So thank you, Francis. But when I saw what this conference was all about, I realized it wasn't my history in pageants that he wanted to hear about. It was the film industry. Because when you look at imagination, imagine and entrepreneurship, women's empowerment and social impact, pretty much describes the film industry at the moment. Lots of imagination. Every movie is an entrepreneurial endeavor. You put a company together, you create a product, and you hope people want to go see it. Social impact. We all know lots of movies can have incredible social impact. And those are the kind of movies that I am interested in these days. And women's empowerment is a big issue in the film industry right now. We need to do better. It is improving, but it's a long way to go. And there's a project or two that I'm working on that is towards that end as well. So hopefully you'll find this talk relevant to today's subjects. And a lot of the things that I'll be touching on that have happened to me in my career have already been mentioned by people that I've been listening to eagerly all day. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to take you back 33 years to the start of my career. I'm about 3 months into my first job. I'm about to give a speech to 500 audio engineers. And I'm about 10 minutes in, and I pass out. I hit the floor. That wakes me up. They bring me a chair. I get up, and I finish my talk. What has that got to do with this presentation? Absolutely nothing. But I figured that this is the end of a long day. You've been listening to lots of speakers, that maybe it's worth hanging around for 10 minutes more because you never know what might happen. So the subject today can be addressed by one slide and one quote by Biz Stone, the co-founder of Twitter. Timing, perseverance, and 10 years of trying will eventually make you look like an overnight success. I think we've all heard those sentiments. I certainly have, and I agree with them. So I would like to focus on 5 other more esoteric characteristics that I have pursued during my career and that have helped me to achieve my own definition of success. Number 1 is to chase your dreams. But be careful to think clearly about what your dreams really are. Most of us have many, many dreams. We have dreams for our family, we have dreams for our finances, we have dreams for our career, we maybe have dreams to travel. I saw somebody had a dream and fulfilled it to skydive earlier on. Lots of dreams, but remember also that dreams can change. Certainly I don't long to be a train driver anymore. So I recommend that you write down your dreams on a regular basis. Review them annually, because if you don't know what you want, how can you possibly achieve it? My passions as a child were music and eventually movies. I didn't realize they were dreams for me to have a career in until much later, actually at college. And even then, they seemed completely impossible. I was introduced to movies by my mother, who took me to see The Sound of Music 7 times at the theater when it came out. But her favorite film was Lawrence of Arabia. I think it might have had something to do with Omar Sharif, but what would I know? I was this big. It became my favorite film too. But we never saw it together on the big screen. I was an infant when it came out, so she couldn't go to the theater. But when it came out later on TV, we're talking the 70s, of course, so we had to wait for it to come out on TV. We would watch it every time it was shown, and eventually we would get our VHS copy and wear that thin watching it. And it really became my favorite movie. I just loved the spectacle that was in this film. Then, of course, in 1977, this came out, which I definitely saw on the big screen multiple times. And it had an impact on a lot of people. For me, it just looked like it was so much fun. And it was the first time, I was the kind of kid who wanted to see how things worked, how they were made. I would take things apart and put them together again and they'd never work again. But I wanted to know, seeing this film made me think, well, how do you make something like that? And what fun could it be to make something that ends up on the screen looking like that? I didn't seriously think that I could actually be involved in making things like this. I lived in the north of England, which is about as far away from Hollywood as Tatooine is. But there were people making these things. And I learned that my favorite films tended to be these big special effects action movies. And there were actually, there's just a handful of the ones that were actually made just up the road here in a studio in San Rafael by Lucasfilm, Industrial Light and Magic. They made the special effects for all of these films. Who would have thought that 35 years later, I'd have my own special effects company based in the same studio, working with the same people and making the next generation of Star Wars films in a very small way. So how did I achieve this crazy dream? Here are a few of the things that I think have stood me in good stead over the years. I've been willing to take chances, and I think everybody should and does in many ways. We're taking an awful risk, Lord Vader. This had better work. Well, they don't always work. But you should be open to new opportunities, new challenges. In fact, go in search of them. If you stand in the middle of an ocean, well, you'll drown for one thing, but you'll also only see the fish that swim by you. And there's a lot of beautiful and interesting fish out there that you have to go looking for. Push yourself. Push yourself out of your comfort zone. You may surprise yourself. Of course, you may also fall flat on your face, like I did at that first lecture I ever gave. Actually, I had the flu that week, and I was running a fever of 103, so it probably wasn't my best decision ever to stand up and make a presentation. Other times when you take a risk, you might find an idea that sends you down a completely new career path, which I did. I was at college studying music, and I just by chance heard of a lecture being given up in London by a film editor. I knew that I liked films, thought it might be interesting to learn a little bit more. This guy was called Terry Rawlings. He had just edited the Alien movie by Ridley Scott, and after that was in the middle of doing Blade Runner. And Terry spoke about the importance of sound in movies, how it's at least 50% of the movie, and the importance of the role of a sound designer. Well, that was it for me. I loved sound and music. I was studying sound. And maybe this was the key for me to actually get into working on movies. While I was at college, we would frequently travel from up to London to record the orchestras in the venues in London. And we would always drive by this very mysterious building with dark windows and the name on the side, Dolby Laboratories. I had no idea what they did. I knew they were big in sound, and I began to recognize their logo appearing on cinemas and on movie posters. Thought, there's a connection there, sound and movies and this company. So when I graduated and I saw an ad in a trade magazine for a sound engineer to work at Dolby Labs, I applied, I got the job, and 6 months later, I'm working on movies. I went on to work on over 100 movies over the next 15 years, in over 20 countries, many movies in Asia. But I always really knew that the real action in movies, and the movies I loved, were the big movies made in the US. So I kind of had a dream to get involved there somehow. And when an opportunity came up within the company to move to the US, I jumped at it. I came over here with my wife and 3 young children, and that was another chance that I took that worked out really well. I ended up running the whole film division and the broadcast division, and at a time when the film industry was considering doing what every other industry had done, transition to digital. Now this was a huge endeavor. Imagine every cinema in the world would have to change, every studio in the world would have to change from physical to digital technologies. Now we of course have been very successful in audio, but this digital cinema movement needed lots of new technologies, encryption technologies, and primarily digital video. But I saw a huge opportunity for the company to take a leadership position in this transition. Except we were an audio company. I had to convince the company that we should become a video company. We did that. It was a big risk. We acquired a bunch of companies, some new technologies, but I had every faith in the team that we had that we could pull this off. And in 2005, we launched Chicken Little with Disney in 84 theaters around the US, and now every theater around the world has converted pretty much to digital. So that was a great venture, a big risk that paid off. Like I said, they don't always work out so well. I was also a pioneer for 3D in Hollywood, and in the process gave a lot of people a lot of headaches. Sorry about that. So I ended up spending 25 years at Dolby. I ran the whole technology division. I did the road show, which took the company public, the biggest IPO of '05. But after 25 years, I was ready for a change, another challenge, and I joined a small effects company. I was still pursuing my love of working on movies, but it was pretty risky given the small size, the inexperienced management, and the business itself. And sure enough, it went bankrupt. But it gave me some great new friends, an insight into another aspect of filmmaking, and it also gave me a new dream to run my own business. So I started 3210 7 years ago, and we're still going relatively strong. But if you take chances, you're bound to have some failures, but you learn from them and you move on. This one may seem obvious. Play nice. Be easy to work with. Be a collaborator. Don't bring problems to your boss, bring solutions. Be positive. Have your colleagues back. Don't be a backstabber, a blamer, a critic, a cynic, a jerk. Nobody wants to work with those people. You won't get invited to the meeting. You won't be in the room where it happens. And again, this seems obvious, but some people don't get it. Here's an email from a guy who doesn't get it. So I get an email maybe once, twice a week from people looking for a job. And ever since I've been in management, I always reply to every one of these requests. I know how soul-destroying it is when you reach out to a company and you don't get even a reply. So I always reply. But we're not hiring at the moment, so it's I reply along these lines. So this guy wrote an email to me. It was an unusual one. It was pretty short. It just said, "Any admin jobs, see attached." And he gave me his resume. All right, I'll reply. And read his resume, nothing to do with the film industry, but he had some decent jobs and some decent skills. So I replied and said, "Thanks, David. Nothing here at the moment, but we'll keep your resume on file and good luck." Which was true. I kept it on file, and you never know when I might dig into that file and need somebody on the admin side and talk to the guy. However, David decided to reply this way. And this is all in capitals, so I assume that means he was kind of shouting. "Just because it's a different industry doesn't mean I can't handle the, damn-ass job. Don't wish me luck, bozo. The other guys don't want me neither." There's about 8 spelling mistakes so far in this. "I've been looking for 4 years. You don't know what," and I'm not going to say this, expletive, "I've been through. Don't wish me luck." Okay, well I won't, but I think you're going to need it. Play nice. My next little bit of advice is find yourself a great team. I think the last speaker or two said it's all about the people you work with, and it really is. Nothing gets done by anyone on their own. You need a team pulling in the same direction. Everything's always done as a team effort. A great team can do great things when they pull in the same direction, and that direction is set by great leaders. My experience working at Dolby as an audio engineer and then running a division of 500 people was just like this. For example, in order to bring surround sound to the world, we needed people like me working on the movies to create that surround sound. We needed people in the cinema to install the equipment to replay that surround sound. We needed people in the factory to build that equipment. We had people talking to chip manufacturers. We had people talking to consumer electronic manufacturers to bring surround sound technology to the home. A huge team all pulling in the same direction with the same goal, which was to enhance the entertainment experience. My current colleagues had a similar experience working on the image side of the business in special effects. In the early days of Industrial Light and Magic, they had incredible people all working together as a tight team, and literally, as you all know, they changed the way movies are made. As a small example of the teamwork that existed at ILM, first of all, you had to build the boat. Then you'd have to paint the boat. Then you'd have to put wind in the sails. Then you'd put explosives in the hull. Then you'd float the boat and blow it up. And you'd have a great cameraman to capture the images to create fantastic images like this and this. All about teamwork to create a great result. So as a result of living by these principles, I've always loved what I've done. I've played nice, and I've been afforded some amazing opportunities. I've taken risks, and I've learned some painful mistakes and lessons, but they've always expanded my horizons. I've worked in some great teams, I've built some great teams, and we've done some great things. I've also worked in some dysfunctional teams, and I know which I prefer. As a result, I've been able to fulfill many of my dreams. I've worked on films from James Bond films to Star Wars. I've worked from London to Shanghai. I've led large organizations, and now I'm leading my own small company. But I keep on dreaming, as you all should. My new dream is to bring filmmaking back to the Bay Area in a big way. So I'm looking for investors to do that with me. The Bay Area has always been a hotbed of fiercely independent and innovative filmmakers, from Chaplin to Pixar, with Coppola, Lucas, and Saul Zaentz in between. And I think it can be again. The talent is here, the facilities are here. We can make this happen again. We can be North Hollywood. So to summarize, know what your dreams are, first and foremost, and then chase them. Take chances. Failure is an option. Not only is it an option, it's inevitable. Learn the lesson, move on. Play nice. Don't write emails like this one. Find yourself or create for yourself great teams. It's all about the people you work with. If you're not in a great team, find another job. And do what you love. And if you can't do what you love what you do. I'll finish with one more story, and it goes back to Lawrence of Arabia. The more I learned about filmmaking and how incredibly difficult it is, the more I admired this film. More specifically, the more I admired the director of this film, Sir David Lean. He created these magnificent images without a single computer in sight. He became like a god to me. How could he possibly do this? And in 1989, I get a call from Steve Southgate, who's running the Columbia Studios office in London. And he asked me to go to help him to check the quality of a restored 70mm print of Lawrence of Arabia. How excited was I? They were going to show the film down at the Cannes Film Festival in honor of Sir David Lean for his 90th birthday. So I go along to the theater, And there in the theatres, there's Steve, who I know well from Columbia. And who's with him? Sir David Lean, the man himself. The three of us watched that film, that magnificent film, on a huge screen at the Odeon, Leicester Square. And every now and then, Mr. Lean would say, "Ah, dear boy, now this shot here," and he would tell us how he made that shot. For example, this iconic scene of the arrival of Sheriff Ali, played by Omar Sharif, my by then departed mother's favourite. They fabricated a new lens for the camera just to shoot this scene. They called it the David Lean lens, and it was never used again. You see all these fingers of the black stones that look like fingers that are pointing towards that point on the horizon from where Sheriff Ali appears. David Lean told me that those stones were put there by hand. Imagine that. I like to think that there was a fourth person in the theatre that day, and she was sat right behind me, watching her favourite film on the big screen for the first time. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Tim. What a wonderful journey you shared with us. I'm super inspired, as hopefully you guys are as well. Obviously, it takes a lot of hard work to get to where you are, and I can't wait to see more of the gifts and mission and amazing special effects we will get to see in the coming years. So thank you for making our world so rich, exciting, and fun. All right, so this brings us to our last and final presentation. Excuse the changes we have behind me. So we have a few professional musicians coming on stage to share with us their art form. So Cindy Lee, she's an erhu player. I've actually, I know somebody down in San Diego, it's a really cool instrument. So, and then we also have, sorry, I lost myself here. And we also have, I'm so sorry, Mandy Zhang, who is a professional Chinese zither player. So together they founded C&M Music Group in 2016. And as you can see behind me, our presenters are setting up and preparing for their performance. It's going to be a blend of traditional and modern music. And in between the songs, we have Dr. Francis Hong coming back up here again. He's going to do some brief interviews to find out more about their backgrounds and their music. And that's because the musicians will be retuning their instruments in the meantime. So I'm going to let them set up here. And I'd like to welcome to our stage Cindy Lee and Mandy Zhang.
All right, so I'm just gonna be here a little bit to give Manny a little bit of time to tune, but I'm also gonna be here to talk to Cindy. So Cindy, what instruments are these?
So this is called erhu. That one is called guzheng, and they both are Chinese traditional instrument, and it has a very long history. Then we all the way bring those guys from China. Yeah.
How long have you guys been practicing and playing these?
I have learning erhu when I was 6, and that's because you know, my dad, he really likes the sound of the erhu, and then when I first listened to the sound of erhu, I found, oh, it's actually like a human voice. It's very deep and very touching. So I just fell in love with the sound of the erhu. And then when I find the history, I know that it's actually from the northern China. And I was born in northern China. And then I think, oh, this is perfect for me. So I started to learning.
Now, what was that last song you just played for us?
It's called Endless Love, and it's from one of the famous Jackie Chan movie. I think some of the people that they might realize it. It's very famous in a very famous movie, like a kung fu movie. You guys must know.
And you have 2 more songs you're gonna play. What are those songs?
Yeah. One of the next song is called Liang Liang, and it's also from a very famous TV show in China. It's called Eternal Love, and we actually rewrite all the melody because we wanted to use the erhu's voice to play the man's voice, and to use the guzheng's voice to play the female's part, because the guzheng, as you know, it has a very clear, very little bit higher voice, but the erhu is like deep and like a man's voice. So we just arranged the songs and to make it a new piece. And I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
like the song, and also we do a little bit of revenge. So hope you guys enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Cindy and Mandy. What a beautiful, moving performance for us today to wrap up our day here. So this is the end of all of our presentations for today, but we're not done yet. We just have a few more things lined up for you guys.
Oh yes, I guess I'm not gonna be using this. But we're gonna have a few more people we want to bring on stage with us. If you guys can hear me okay? So where is George Chow here? George? No George? Alright, we're gonna bring George up later a bit. I think if that's the case, Christo, I hope you're around. Are you within earshot, Christo?
Yeah.
Christo? She's moving? Alright. So,
okay.
Christo is basically the girl in white you've seen running around here all day. She's actually the person that was very integral to the whole operations of the planning here. If it wasn't for Christo, a lot of these things wouldn't happen. And I can't wait for her to show up so I can show you her. And of course, you know, the phone rings at this time too. With this light turned on. So, but Crystal is basically somebody who I found out and met in the pageant here. And when I first met her, she was pretty much very shy and interested in the pageant and dancing. But, oh, George, now we have George. George, please come up here. And there's Crystal. Now everyone comes. All right, George, you come up first. And we have something we want to present to you.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Vincent? This is an official thank you plaque to SBIF from Imagine Talk. Thank you so much for being such an awesome partner. Thank you so much. All right, Crystal, let's have you come up here.
All right.
Hello. All right, thank you so much, Francis. Hi, everyone. I'd like to first express that I am so honored to be given the opportunity to be the events director for this year's Imagine Talks. And I'd like to first thank Dr. Francis Kong. Thank you so much for being in my life. You first recruited me as an Edge intern, and that gave me the first opportunity to volunteer at Imagine Talks. And I also like to thank Rose and Vince. Thank you guys so much for trusting me and helping you guys do all these different events for Miss Asian Global. Without the three of you guys, I really wouldn't be where I am today, and you guys have helped me grow and gain so many experiences. And I'd like to thank my personal friends. Thank you guys so much for giving me your time and all your support and helping in what I like to do. So thank you guys so much. I'm so blessed to have you guys. And I'd like to thank all of our speakers today. Thank you guys so much for coming in and sharing your personal stories and really inspiring us. Without you guys, there is no Imagine Talks. And of course, our wonderful volunteer team. Thank you guys for coming in today and yesterday to help us out. Without you guys, Imagine Talks would not be as amazing as this. And I'd like to invite my wonderful staff team up over here on stage. As I call out our volunteer team leaders, we're going to give you guys a certificate of appreciation. All right, first off, I'd like to call Kathy Nguyen to come up. Kathy is my event assistant. Thank you so much for helping me, Kathy. I also like to call Katie Lamb to come back on. Oh no, she's right here. Just kidding. She's behind me. Katie, our MC, thank you so much for being our MC as well as one of our sponsor leads. And I also like to call on Maggie Schoenhertholtz. I'm gonna butcher her name. Maggie has been working at Imagine Talks for like 4 years. So every Imagine Talk she's been here, and as the registration lead. Okay, she's slowly walking. I'd like to thank Dr. Stephen Chan. He is our social media lead. Thank you so much, Stephen. You create all these wonderful posts all by yourself. You do a lot of work. Thank you so much.
Oh, Maggie, come on up.
And I'd like to thank Yilan Shi. You are our slide producer. Thank you so much for working on all the speaker slide and taking care of our tech. And I also like to thank Kevin Liu as well as Nico White. They are our designers. You guys see all the backdrops, the patio outside, all these banners. It is their work. So thank you guys so much. All right, well, we now get a big staff photo.
Thank you very much. Crystal, you did a tremendous job. You have earned your cape.
Yeah.
I was wondering backstage, like, what is this?
That's appropriate.
Super pink.
That's so cool.
Alright, are we ready? And smile. You guys are beautiful, you guys are amazing, you guys are great. Yay! Thank you. You guys are
Vince, can you say your announcement for us, please?
All right, are you guys hungry? All right, just a quick announcement. Here's a question. When is the 2018 Miss Asian Global Pageant Night held? That's August 4th. All right, August 4th. I want you guys to remember that. Just sink it in. And I want to let you guys know that, Imagine Talk is an extension of the Miss Asian Global Pageant. And so we are going to have a launch party very soon, somewhere between March and April. But in the meantime, definitely go ahead and apply for the 2018. Here's a fun fact. Gina Su, former Imagine Talk speaker, actually won the Miss Asian Global Pageant. We have Katie, who also was a speaker, applied last year and won the Miss Asian California. And I know you guys are interested, so definitely go online. It's missasianglobal.com. And thank you very much for enjoying the show. All right.
Thank you. I think right now we're ready for the raffle drawing to see who's going to win the Monster Blaster. I'm going to ask Maggie to come up here to help with the raffle drawing. Maggie's going to be running for Miss Chinatown USA. Let's give her a round of applause to wish her all the best of luck.
Also my pageant sister. So you see, great sisterhood we've created just because of a pageant.
Oh, actually, I'm just going to let you go ahead and do the pulling, and then you're going to hand it to Edgar, who's going to tape it onto the board here. Hey, Edgar, you've been my personal assistant. Can you come up here? I borrowed him from Katie. Okay, so what's the first prize?
Our first prize is a monster.
No, it isn't. That's the last prize.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. A raffle basket from Forever Bumar. And this is from Jennifer Chung, who is actually a queen, Miss Asian America.
And the CEO. Okay, who wins that? You're just not the basket holder, Maggie.
Okay, all right.
Let's do it quick.
Do I have to name the number?
Yes, and the number is 7967037. Again, the number is 7967037. And if you do win the prize after we let loose, you're going to go over to that table to claim your prize.
Who's the lucky winner?
And the next one is, okay, everyone needs an administrator, and this is a startup, and here's 1 month free. It's $198 value for High
Connects.
High Connects.
High Connects.
Okay, so who's going to win a free administrator for 1 month?
Personal executive assistant.
The number is 7966840. 7966840. The next one is, you have all seen those very interesting Russian Spitfire cakes. We have 3 for a raffle. So
these took 9 hours to make, so they've got to be pretty good.
So thank you very much to Spot In for your donation, and also representing the Russian community. The first winner is 374159. 374159. Next one is 373416. 373416. And the last Spitfire cake is 7966745. 7966745.
All right, our next one is Snow Crave Tea House gift certificates. We have 2, I believe, for $25 each. And if you guys don't already know what Snow Crave is, it is Vincent Ma's really great dessert shop. And he actually has a 1-year anniversary on Saturday, the 27th, between 12 to 2 p.m. So I just want to make that quick announcement.
And today you can sample his products over there. And if you love it, go celebrate next week. And the number is 796-6884. 796-6884. Another Snow Crave certificate is 796-6937. 796-6937.
All right, our next one is for Hang restaurant in the city. And we have 2 of those for $25 value, and a great place for dim sum.
It's the oldest dim sum restaurant in America. We have 2 of those, and the number is 374-157. 374-157. The other one for Hang is 374-162. 374-162.
All right, and next we have Hannah Zen Restaurant. We have a very generous gift certificate valued at $100, and great Japanese fusion food in Pier 39.
Great view in Pier 39. And the winner is, for Hannah Zen, is 596-2172. 596-2172.
All right, and then we have a couple of certificates from World Team USA. This is a gym, Muay Thai gym, that I personally train at for preparation for my pageant. Awesome instructors there, including Kru Sam. He has a history of coaching boxers and Muay Thai fighters. So we have one valued at $155 for 1 private lesson and 2 weeks worth of group classes.
And the number is 374-164. 374-164.
I hope you guys are looking at your tickets because you want to claim your prizes. All right, and then we also have 2 more gift certificates for the World Team USA Women's Boot Camp, 6 weeks valued at $350 each. I personally took this class, so highly recommend it and hope you guys get it.
The number is 374-408. 374-408. And we have 1 more. 4, right? We have 2 of those?
Yes, 2 of those.
Okay, and the other one is 373-345. 373-345.
Sorry, Rose, I gave Rona. Sorry.
Okay, well, that was a very nice intro to the finale of the raffle drawing for the Monster Blaster. But again, we want to thank all of you for being so generous in getting these raffle tickets. And, you know, 99% of you got $20 of tickets, so that really helped with the expensiveness of this wonderful event. And especially want to thank, again, I forgot to thank the volunteers who actually came from over 500 miles, like Russell, he came from Los Angeles, Connie came from Los Angeles, and I'm just meeting people who say they travel really far just to come support the event. Okay.
Which leaves us with our grand prize for the day, which is our Monster Blaster.
Before we do that too, I just also want to mention that you won't get access to the food till 5 o'clock, which means you have to mingle a little bit more, check out the booths, check out the view, the beautiful view, especially Kevin's creation that he puts his heart into in the patio. I don't know if you saw that 3D design. Okay, we're ready now.
We're ready.
Okay, who wins the Monster Blaster? The number is 374-635. 374-635. And that concludes our raffle drawing. Please claim your prizes over there. And
I'm going to close out, guys. All right, so thank you so much, everyone, for coming to Imagine Talks, our annual leadership conference. It's been an amazing journey today, and we look forward to seeing you at the 5th annual Imagine Talks in 2019. So our celebration reception starts at 5 p.m. So as Rose said, please take a time to mingle, make sure you get all your contacts and everything you want. And Samantha Mui actually has her cheese sampler plate, so please check that out as well. And thank you so much, and see you at 2019 Imagine Talks.